Good morning, everyone. Good day, my dear students from grade 11, Our Lady of Fatima, 11, Our Lady of Guadalupe, and 11, Our Lady of Lourdes. I hope everyone is doing well today. Before we officially start, I want you to prepare ourselves because our lesson for today is something that you actually use every single day. In fact, you're already practicing this lesson even before we discuss it. So every time you talk to your parents, every time you chat with your friends, every time you send a message to your teacher, like me, and every time you post something online, or even every time you speak in front of your classmates, you're already making communication choices, right? But the question is, are we always using the right words, the right tone, and the right way of organizing our message? That's what we're going to talk about this session. So, our lesson for this session, grade 11 students, is all about using appropriate language, tone, and structure in discussing a variety of contextual topics. I know, my dear students, familiar na kayo sa language, tone, and structure because in lesson 1, we have already discussed it. Pero for lesson number 5, we're going to take deeper or we're going to discuss deeper about it because we will be having the word variety of contextual topics as part of our discussion. Kaya naman, I want you to take note of the word appropriate. Okay? Again, I want you to take note of the word appropriate. Class, hindi ibig sabihin na kapag grammatically correct ang sinabi natin, effective na agad. O kaliman, sometimes, tama naman yung grammar, pero mali yung timing, right? Sometimes naman, tama yung words, pero inappropriate yung tone. Or sometimes, maganda yung idea natin, pero magulo naman ang pagkakapresent. So today, we're going to understand how we can adjust the way we communicate depending on who we're talking to, why we're communicating, and what situation we're in. And that's very important now because you are already a senior high school student, no? Now, look at the next slide, my dear student. Okay, let's look at our learning competency. It says that for this lesson, you're going to use language. Again, use language, tone, and structure appropriately for audience, purpose, and context in discussing a variety of personal, interpersonal, social, and cultural topics. Now, let's simplify that. There are three very important questions that you should remember whenever you communicate class. What are those? The who, the why, and the where or what situation. Kaya you have to ask yourselves at all times, who am I talking to? Why am I communicating? And what is the situation or context? Let me give you a very simple example. Imagine that you want to ask for additional time to submit for an activity. So if you're talking to your best friend, you might say, "Bro, pwede bang bukas na lang? Di pa ako talaga tapos eh." Right? It's very natural. But would you say exactly the same thing to your teacher? Of course, uh, hindi mo naman sasabihin na, "Ma'am, puwede bukas na lang, 'di ko pa talaga tapos," 'no? Instead, you could say it, pero you probably wouldn't communicate it that way if you want to sound respectful and professional. Kaya you might say, "Good morning, ma'am," or "Good morning, sir. May I respectfully request additional time to submit my project tomorrow due to unforeseen circumstances," 'no? Notice what happened. Same basic purpose. You're asking for additional time, but the language change, the tone change, and even the structure of the message change. Why? Because the audience and context change. So effective communication class is not simply about knowing what to say. It is also knowing how, when, and to whom to say it. And actually, we're going to discuss this deeper later, this learning competency. But the question right now is, what are our learning outcomes or intended learning outcomes? I want you to look at the screen. Here are the things you are expected to accomplish after this lesson. So, the first one is that I can use appropriate language, tone, and structure in written responses for different audiences, purposes and communication contexts. So for example, kapag nag-email ka sa teacher, kapag nag-message ka sa class group chat, or kapag gumawa ka ng formal written response, you should know how to adjust your communication. That's the first one. Next, look at the second one. I can organize and adopt ideas and expressions effectively when discussing impersonal, interpersonal, and social and cultural topics. This is important because not all topics are equally sensitive, right? For example, talking about your favorite movie with a friend is very different from discussing someone's cultural beliefs. So kapag sensitive ang topic, kailangan mas maingat tayo, just like what I said during lesson number 4. And third, I can deliver an oral presentation that appropriately uses language, tone, and structure to communicate ideas clearly and effectively for a specific audience and purpose, no? Uh, So hindi lang ito para sa writing, my dear students, no? Hindi lang ito para sa writings, but kasama rin dito yung speaking. Later on, when you present research, defend an idea, speak in an organization, or even attend a job interview, you will need these skills. So by the end of this lesson, I want you to understand one major idea. Effective communication requires adaptation. So hindi tayo gumagamit ng iisang style ng communication sa lahat ng pagkakataon. Okay? So let's now proceed to the next slide. Here we go. This is now the most important slide in our lesson because I am now going to fully discuss the content of our learning competency. So we have three key concepts class: audience, purpose, and context. Let's start with audience, no? Audience class refers to the person or group receiving your message. In simple words, kanino ka nagsasalita? Is it your best friend, your classmate, o your teacher? Pwede naman, is it your parents, a group of students, or even the entire school community. So because your audience affects the kind of language you use, for example, if I am talking to my close friend, I can be more casual, right? I can say na, uy, tara, sama ka sa activity bukas. But if I am inviting the entire school community, obviously that language needs to change. Maybe good day, everyone. We warmly invite all members of the school community to participate in tomorrow's activity. No, same basic message, different audience, and yeah, that's audience all about. Okay, now let's move to purpose. Okay, purpose means why you are communicating. In other words, bakit ka nagsasalita? Are you informing someone? Are you requesting something? Or are you persuading? Or even are you apologizing or encouraging someone? The purpose, my dear students, determines how you construct your message. For example, if I am requesting something, I need to make that request clear. Or if I am apologizing, I need to communicate with sincerity. Or if I am persuading, I need to provide reasons, no? So this is all about what we call purpose, okay? Now look at the slide. Tingnan naman natin yung context. Okay, here we go. What is a context? Context refers to the situation or setting where communication happens. And this is where things becomes this is where things become interesting because sometimes even if the audience and purpose are the same, the context can change the way we communicate, no? For example, imagine you're asking your teacher for an extension. If you're casually talking after class, you might say, "Ma'am, can I submit this tomorrow? I just need a little more time." But if you're sending a formal written message, you might say, "Good day, ma'am. May I respectfully request additional time to submit my project tomorrow due to unforeseen circumstances," just like what I said earlier during the time that I am presenting our learning competency. So, in other words, the situation affects the communication, right? Now, let's take let's look at the example on the slide. A student says, "May I still submit my project tomorrow? I just need a little more time." Then the teacher says, "Good day," or then the teacher, or I mean, if the teacher yung sasabihin natin, we will say, "Good day, ma'am. May I respectfully request to submit my project tomorrow due to unforeseen circumstances. Thank you for your understanding." Notice the difference, no? The second version is more formal and respectful. Now, students, here's a quick question. If you're asking your best friend for a favor, would you normally use the same language that you use when requesting something from your teacher? I'd like you to type yes or no in the comment section. No? Again, if you're asking your best friend for a favor, would you normally use the same language that you use when requesting something from your teacher? Please type yes or no in the comment section. And of course, most of you will say no, and that's exactly the point. You naturally adjust your communication based on the situation. So, our goal is to become more intentional about that adjustment. Okay? Let's proceed to the fifth slide, my dear students. Let's go deeper. We've already talked about the audience, the purpose, and the context. But how exactly do we adjust our communication? Again, the word is how exactly do we adjust our communication? So we have three things, okay? Language, tone, and structure. Let's start with language. Language refers to the words and expressions that we use. Simple enough, right? But remember, not all words are appropriate for all audiences. For example, "Hey, what's up?" No? This might be perfectly acceptable when talking to a friend, but imagine using that opening in a formal request to a school administrator or to the school principal. It might not create the right impression. So when we choose language, we have to consider, is this appropriate for my audience and situation? Next, look at the tone, no? We know that the tone refers to the attitude or feeling conveyed by your message. And this is very important because sometimes the word themselves are not necessarily bad, but the tone can make the sound rude, no? For example, imagine I can say, "Can you send me that file?" Depending on how I say it, it could sound natural, But if I say, can you send me that file? Suddenly it sounds demanding. Same words, different tone. Kaya we know that tone can communicate respect, it can communicate friendliness, seriousness, encouragement, or even impatience, no? Kaya think of this way, my dear students. If your ideas are all over the place, your listener may have difficulty understanding you. For example, imagine you're giving a short presentation and you suddenly start with your conclusion. Then you give a random example, no? Then you explain the introduction, then you say your conclusion again. Even if all your information is correct, your audience might become confused. That's why structure matters. Look at the example on the slide, no? Look at the example on the slide. Okay? The situation is welcoming a new exchange student. Okay? The communication uses language, respectful and welcoming expressions. And look at the tone, friendly, warm, and encouraging. And the structure is all about greeting, welcome, and offer of help. And the message says, welcome to our school. We're glad you're here. If you need any help adjusting to your new environment, feel free to ask anytime. Now, notice how organized that is, right? First, welcome the person. Second, show positive feelings, and the third, offer assistance. That's good communication because the message is not only correct, but it's appropriate, it's clear and organized. So remember, language is what you say. Tone is how your message feels, and structure is how you organize what you say. Okay? So far, we're already finished with the first half of our discussion. Let's proceed to our sixth slide. Let's have this communication match challenge. Let us test your understanding. This is our communication match challenge. We have four situations and let's analyze them. Okay? I want you to use the chat box or the comment section in answering this communication math challenge. Let's have situation number one. Okay. A learner replaces the word hey with good afternoon, sir, before asking a question. So, what is being adopted here? Sige nga, what do you think is being adopted here? I want you to use the comment section. Okay, the answer is language. Okay, why language? Because the learner changed the expression to make it more appropriate when speaking to a teacher. It's not that hey is always wrong. Hindi naman. Hey is perfectly normal in casual conversations, but when the audience and context change, our language may need to change too. Okay, remember that. Next, situation number two. While comforting a nervous classmate, Bea speaks calmly and uses encouraging words. Okay? What is being adopted here? Based from the first part of our discussion, use the comment box or the comment section. And the answer is, what is being adopted? The answer is tone. Okay? Why tone? Because the purpose is to comfort and encourage. Imagine if Bea said, relax, stop worrying. Technically, she's telling the classmate to calm down, but the tone may sound dismissive, no? Instead, if she says, it's okay, you prepared for this, just take a deep breath and do your best. That sounds more encouraging. Same general intention, but better tone. Okay? Let's proceed to situation number three. Okay. A learner begins a speech with a greeting. presents the main idea, gives supporting details, and ends with a closing statement. What is being adopted here? Okay, type your answer also in the comment section. What is being adopted? Okay, the answer is structure, because the ideas are arranged logically. So there's an opening, there's a main idea, there are supporting details, and there's a conclusion. Okay, last one, situation number 4. Look at the slide. A student changes, "You must do this," into, "May I encourage everyone to participate?" What change? No? What change? Use the comment section, my dear students. Ano yung nabago? And the answer, primarily the language and the tone. So the first statement sounds commanding, the second sounds more respectful and encouraging. Now, here's something important. When we say adopt communication, it doesn't mean that we should always make our language extremely formal, because it's another misconception. Because appropriate does not always means formal, no? Appropriate does not always mean formal. I mean, no? If I'm talking to my best friend, casual language may be the most appropriate choice, no? But if I am talking to a teacher, a formal or respectful style may be more appropriate. So the goal is not to say sound fancy, and uh, the goal is to sound appropriate. Okay? So at this point, if you are already in the sixth slide, you're done watching this one. As part of your attendance, I'd like you to write your name and your section and the date today, kung anong araw nyo to pinapanood, plus the time na nandito ka sa slide na to. Again, write your name, your section, the date today, and the time right now as part of the attendance. Let's now proceed to the seventh slide. Here we go. Let's now talk about adopting language, tone, and structure. Okay? So let's make the idea more practical, dear students. There are three ways we can adopt our communication. First, adopting the language or adopting language. We select words and expressions for our intended audience. We can use formal or informal language depending on the situation, but we should also avoid offensive, vague, or inappropriate expressions. So before sending a message, especially online, ask yourself, is this the right word for the person I'm talking to? I'm going to repeat. You have to ask yourself, is this the right word for the person I'm talking to? Next, let's have adopting tone. We match the attitude or emotion to the communication purpose, right? If we're communicating with an authority figure, we generally use respectful tone. Or if we were motivating someone, we use an encouraging tone. So if we're having a casual conversation, a friendly tone may be appropriate. Okay? That's the second one. Next, look at the third one, adopting structure. We begin with an appropriate opening. We present our ideas clearly and logically. And of course, we end the communication politely and purposefully. Now, look at the example. The purpose is the same, no? Invite someone to a school activity, but look at the three audiences, no? Number one, to a friend, "Hey, come with us this Friday. It will be fun." Very casual. To a teacher, "Good afternoon, ma'am. We would like to invite you to attend our school activity this Friday." It's more formal. And to the school community, "Good day, everyone. We warmly invite all members of the school community to participate in our school activity this Friday." So it's more formal and inclusive. Now, here's the key point on the slide. Okay. Although the purpose remains the same, the language, the tone, and structure change according to the audience. That sentence is extremely important. If you remember only one thing from today's discussion, remember that same purpose does not always mean same communication style. Okay? I hope that's clear to everybody. Next, let's proceed to the second to the last slide. Okay, here's the eighth slide. Let's now talk about personal, interpersonal, social, and cultural context. Let's move to different communication contexts. No, so I know you're already familiar with the different communication context, right? Because we have discussed this already during the first lesson. Again, I hope you're already familiar with the different communication contexts, my dear students. No, this is actually uh, a review, pero syempre sabi ko nga, we're going to discuss this deeper. So we have four: personal, interpersonal, social, and cultural contexts. Let's start with personal context. This involves communication with family members, close friends, or even ourselves or oneself. Because the relationship is usually close, the language can be more relaxed and natural. So, for example, ma'am, can you remind, or mommy, can you remind me about my assignment later? Or bro, are you joining tomorrow? Okay. So it's simple, it's natural, it's friendly. Okay, this is what we call uh, personal context. Now let's proceed to the interpersonal context. This involves communication between classmates, colleagues, or acquaintances. Here, respectful language becomes more important. For example, can we discuss our assigned parts for the project? You're still talking casually, but there's a greater need for cooperation and organization. Okay? That's interpersonal context. Third is social context class. This involves communication with groups, organizations, schools, or communities, because you're talking to a larger audience. Your language should generally be inclusive, informative, courteous, and organized. For example, good day everyone. We would like to invite all students to participate in the activity. Okay? And finally, cultural context. This involves communicating with people from different cultures, traditions, beliefs, and backgrounds. And this requires something very important, which I actually already discussed in the fourth lesson, the word sensitivity. Okay, we have to be respectful and open minded. We should also avoid stereotypes and discriminatory expressions. For example, if you're talking to someone from another cultural background, you shouldn't automatically assume that they think, behave, or communicate exactly the way you do. We have to understand the differences exist, and communication should stop us understand those differences, not attack them. No. So look at the guided application. Okay, the message is please join tomorrow's school activity. Okay, let's use this again as an example. It's a simple message, right? But when we're talking to a best friend, it becomes, hey, come and join tomorrow's school activity. It will be fun. Okay? When speaking to a teacher, good afternoon, ma'am. We would like to invite you to join tomorrow's school activity. And when speaking to the entire school community, you say, good day, everyone. We warmly invite all members of our school community to join tomorrow's school activity. Pero eto na, when welcoming visiting students, definitely coming from different places or country, welcome. we invite you to join tomorrow's school activity. We'll be happy to have you with us. Again, dear students, the message remains essentially the same, but the language, the tone, and structure adapt to the context, no? Uh, I'd like you to think about this. If you are communicating with someone whose culture or background is different from yours, what should you be careful about? Okay? Again, if you're communicating with someone whose culture or background is different from yours, what should you be careful about? You can type one word in the comment section. Again, one word in what in the comment section. So I know maybe you would answer respect, sensitivity, language, stereotypes, and I'd like you to know, dear students, all those are valid. No, the important thing is that effective communication should create understanding, not unnecessary conflict. Okay, and of course, let's proceed to the ninth slide. Look at your screen. Here we go. It's the ninth slide already. We are now at the final major part of our lesson. Why does all of this matter? That's the question right now. Why do we need to be more careful about our language, our tone, and structure? Because communication affects relationships and collaboration. First, communication builds positive relationships, no? Appropriate communication develops trust, respect, and mutual understandings. So think about your relationships. Would you feel comfortable talking to someone who constantly insults you? Probably not, right? But when someone communicates respectfully, you feel that your thoughts and feelings are valued. That's why respectful language strengthens interpersonal relationships. Okay? Second, look at the slide. Okay? Communication encourages collaboration. Teamwork becomes more effective when ideas are communicated clearly and respectfully. Okay? Imagine you're working on a group project. One member says, "Your idea is stupid. We're not doing that." What happens? No? Most likely conflict, right? But imagine the person says, "I understand your idea. Maybe we can also consider another approach." Same disagreement, different communication. Uh, and the second version opens the door for collaboration. So, appropriate language minimizes misunderstanding during group work. Okay? So, third, communication promotes inclusivity. Effective communicators class value different cultures, different beliefs, opinions, and experiences. This is especially important in a diverse community. Hindi natin kailangang pare-pareho ng opinyon para magkaroon ng respectful communication. We can disagree without disrespecting one another. And finally, communication supports partnership and shared goals. Diyan papasok yung SDG natin, no? Schools, organizations, and communities accomplish common goals through effective communication. Think about a school activity. You have students, teachers, there are administrators, parents, different people, different responsibilities, different perspectives. But if everyone communicates clearly and respectfully, they can work toward the same goal. Now let's look at the guided application on your screen. So we have a group of learners from different grade levels and cultural backgrounds organizing a community outreach project. This is where everything we discuss comes together. So from the beginning up until this very part, pagsasama-samahin natin yon, no? They need to communicate with one another. They need to respect different opinions. They need to use language that encourages cooperation. They need to listen and they need to focus on the shared goal. So actually, it's very timely now that in the coming week, or the coming week is already performance task week. So this is actually applicable to your current situation. So let's answer the guide questions. Number one, how should group members communicate with one another? Okay. Of course, they should communicate clearly, respectfully, and openly. Question number two, what language and tone will encourage cooperation? So language that is respectful, alam natin yan, inclusive and constructive. And question number three, why is respecting different opinions important in achieving a common goal? Because different perspectives can contribute excuse me, because different perspectives class can contribute to better decisions, and respect allows members to work together even when they disagree. So communication isn't about just exchanging words. Communication is also about building relationships and making cooperation possible. Okay, I hope that's clear to everyone. Allow me to have a little sip of water. And actually, we're already on the last slide. Here's the last slide. So that brings us to end our lesson. Before we end, I want you to remember simple things. No, choose your words carefully, class. Okay, be aware of how your message sounds and feel, and organize your ideas clearly and logically. And always consider the audience, the purpose, and the context. Because, class, effective communication is not simply about speaking or writing correctly. It's about communicating in a way that is appropriate, respectful, clear, and effective for the situation. And of course, as a senior high school student, you are already preparing yourself for situations beyond the classroom. Yan naman yung lagi kong sinasabi sa inyo, no? We are preparing you for college, employment, organizations, communities, and different social and cultural environments. So before you speak, write, send a message, or post something online, pause for a second and ask yourself, who am I talking to? What is my purpose? What is the context? And of course, finally, you have to ask yourself as well, is my language, tone, and structure appropriate? If you can answer those questions, class, you're already one step closer to becoming an effective communicator. So thank you everyone, my dear students, for listening and participating today. Please remember, good communication is not about using the biggest words. It's about using the right words in the right way for the right situation. That's all for today's discussion. Thank you, everyone. And of course, have a very good day. Maraming salamat. Mag-iingat kayo palagi. Thank you, guys.